Hello, horse lovers. In running this channel, I did some research about a lot of different movies, compiled a list about, okay, what ones do I really want to talk about to review for other horse lovers? What ones do we all know and love that are classics to any horse lover? What ones get overlooked that most people might not have heard of but are hidden gems? And I got to thinking about the horse actors. And a lot of us, who are fans of older horse movies and shows will know, of course, Trigger, who was Roy Rogers' big Palomino. Um, but there's one. There really aren't that many horse actors who are well known, and one that I think gets overlooked a lot is Highland Dale, or at least that was his original name. But I'll talk about that shortly. Now, Highland Dale was born in 1943. He was a purebred saddlebred, although you wouldn't recognize him as a saddlebred because saddlebreds today look a lot different than saddlebreds back then. Human breeding can change a lot when we get our minds to saying, oh no, I want the horse to look more like this. But anyway, um, he was an incredibly smart horse. He was spotted by an animal trainer at the age of only 18 months. And when he was only 2 years old, which is incredibly young, he played in one of the many movie versions of Black Beauty. And eventually I'm going to talk about that one, but his most famous role was probably as Fury. Now that's an older TV series that I'm guessing a lot of people today have never heard of. But it's a really good series, and I wanted to talk about both that and about Highlandale himself. Well, according to the series, Fury is supposedly a wild horse, a wild Mustang. Not exactly true, as I'll talk about shortly, but anyway, the intro talks about him being a wild horse.
Wild as Fury is, that's the one human voice he's learned to love and obey. The voice of the boy who once saved his life. Jim Newton's boy, Joey.
The intro starts to set up the story, although the first episode tells the complete story of how Joey and Fury met. But I also love in the intro how they show one trick that Fury can do. And it's something that every horse owner would love it if their horse would do for them.
Kneel down, let me get on you. And there they are together. A great wild horse and the only person on earth who can ride it. Joey and Fury.
I just have to take a moment to say I'm not only impressed with Highland Dale, but I'm also impressed with Bobby Diamond, who plays Joey. That's some pretty good riding, bareback and no bridle. I mean, to any rider, that's pretty good. I don't know what kind of riding experience that Bobby Diamond had before he took on this role, but yeah, I'm suitably impressed. Well, in the first episode that tells the story of how Joey and Fury meet, Fury is captured as a wild horse on the ranch of Jim Newton. Jim Newton is a widower who lost his wife and son in a car accident, and he happens to be in town when Joey, who is an orphan, gets in some trouble being accused of a crime he didn't commit. Well, Jim happened to see another boy commit it, and he goes to bat for Joey, defends him, and then he offers Joey the chance to come live with him at his place.
A ranch. Raise horses mostly.
Horses?
Mm-hmm. You like horses?
Who doesn't?
Well, maybe I could use a sort of a handy boy to help round up the horses and milk cows, feed the chickens, things like that. And after a while, maybe you'd have your own cow pony and saddle. Go out with us after the wild mustangs. Would you like that?
Gee, are you on a level, mister?
Well, Joey, let's start out with the idea that what you and I say to each other is always on the level. Wouldn't you like that, too?
Yeah, I like that fine.
Good. As a matter of fact, so would I. Now, that's the way it's got to be if we're going to get along. Now, let's talk to the judge.
When they get back to the ranch, one of the ranch hands is cruelly trying to use ropes and whips to subdue Fury. And we see what kind of a person Jim is right away when he does not tolerate that for a moment.
I thought I told you to lay off that horse. Well, he seemed ready for a ride, didn't he, Pete? Yeah, ready as he'll ever be, I reckon. I've seen some that's never settled down. Well, that's exactly what'll happen to him if you manhandle him. The only way to make a real horse out of that stallion is to treat him with kindness. Make friends with him. So you keep your ropes off it and leave him to me. Well, whatever you say, boss. I was only trying to earn my pay. Okay, no harm done this time.
Joey takes a liking to Fury right away and asks if he can talk to him. And he's told, yep, you can talk to him all you want, make friends with him, but don't go inside the fence. You can visit with him outside the fence just in case he would do something that could get you hurt. Well, Joey follows this rule until that ranch hand goes back into the paddock and tries to attack Fury again, tries to subdue him with whips. Joey goes in there and ends up knocked down and hurt, and Fury gets blamed, and the ranch hand tries to take credit saying that he saved Joey.
Chris, go get the doctor. Hurry up. How did it happen? I saw the fool kid going in there, so I went in with my whip just in time to keep that stallion from killing him. Why would he do a thing like that? Maybe he's trying to make a friend out of the horse.
Joey tries to tell Jim the truth, only Jim doesn't believe him.
Well, young fella, you nearly got yourself killed. I warned you to stay away from that horse.
He didn't mean to do it. It was that other fella he was after.
You mean Bart?
That's the one. He was going to beat him, and I tried to stop him.
Joey, I thought we agreed to level with each other.
Sure, Mr. Jim. I'm leveling with you.
I think it was that cloud on my head that got your memory a little foggy. You were in the corral when Bart first saw you.
No, sir. Honest, I wasn't. I was outside the fence, just talking to the horse.
Joey?
Feeling like his word doesn't matter anyway, and that's no place for him if he's not going to be believed, Joey actually leaves a note and runs away. And when Jim finds it, he realizes that Joey was telling the truth the whole time. And he is not happy at all with his ranch hand.
Here's your month's pay. Now saddle up your horse and get moving. You're fired. For what? To keep me from going to jail for manslaughter. Read this. Looks to me like I got my liars mixed up. Now go on.
Meanwhile, Fury is out there hurt. He injured himself breaking through the fence so he could get away from being whipped. Joey comes across him and is able to help him.
Don't be scared. It's only me. I'm your friend.
Unfortunately, the cruel ranch hand is out there too, and he blames Fury for getting him fired. He tries to shoot Fury, but luckily Joey went back and got Jim and they arrive in time to save him. Fury is taken back to the ranch, where he's given officially to Joey, who takes charge with making him well again. And you can tell from here on things are going to be good for the two of them.
What's the verdict, Doc? Proper care, he'll be as good as new. Not even a scar. But he'll need constant watching for at least a week to keep him off his feet.
Don't worry about that, Doc. I'll take care of him. Every minute, day and night.
Well, Fury couldn't be any better hands than that, Jim. That's right, Doc. Horses know who their friends are. You can't fool them. All right, Joey. I'll bring in your mattress and bedding.
And I'll see that you don't go hungry.
And I'll dig out my old guitar and sing you both to sleep.
After this point, there isn't all that much mention of Fury being a wild horse. even though in the intro to the show they refer to him as King of the Wild Stallions. You see him mostly living in the corrals at the ranch. Occasionally, he'll jump out and he'll go see other horses. Like there's one episode where he's interested in a wild mare. But generally, we don't see his herd that much, and we don't really hear that much talk of him being a wild horse. Although it is mentioned several times that only Joey can ride him unless there's an emergency where he has to let somebody else ride him to get help or transport an injured person or that. Basically, from this point on, Fury is the horse version of Lassie. We see him do simple things, like, for example, opening and closing fences.
Good boy. Now see you close it. Go on, close it, Fury. Good boy. Now see how fast we can get to the barn.
But we also see Fury do a lot more complicated things, like saving a kid from a wildfire. Like I said, horse version of Lassie.
I'll get Fury help. Fury! Fury, come here! Come on, Fury, help me move this log. Push, Fury, push! Take it easy. We'll get her off here.
I'm really impressed with that scene because obviously horses don't like fire. No animal does. So for Fury to, for Highland Dale to do that while there was a fire burning around him, even though I'm sure it was, safely controlled on set, still pretty impressive. Now, this was set in the 1950s, which was present day at that time. But of course, being a Western, you still gotta have your bad guys. You got your bank robbers and um, like that. And of course, Fury was helpful in fighting them off too.
Stop, Fury, stop! Now, Fury, go get Jim! Fury!
And naturally, not only could Fury fight off any robber, but if somebody tried to steal him, he was pretty good at throwing them off his back too.
Keep still till he gets right in the sack. Fucking demoniac. He's all yours now, mister.
Maybe I better take you along with me.
Oh, no, sir.
Sure, these woods are crawling with cops. You'll be good insurance if we run into any of them.
But you promised.
They won't shoot with you sitting up here. Hey, come on. Whoa, boy. Come on. Whoa. All right, come on. Put your foot up there.
Now, Fury, now! Give it to him!
Obviously, Fury was a very intelligent horse, which means, of course, Highland Dale, the horse who played him, was also extremely intelligent. He had quite a few roles other than Fury. He played in Gypsy Colt, as I mentioned, he was in Black Beauty. He also played in Giant, which also starred James Dean and Elizabeth Taylor. So if you're a fan of those two actors and you want to check out Giant, you'll see Fury in it. You'll see Highland Dale in there. As I said, there's a little confusion about his name because he did become so famous for the roles. His name did end up changed several times. Like, okay, we'll just call him Fury. We'll just call him Black Beauty. But normally offset, he was called Beauty by his trainers. So He was a pretty special horse, and I do want to make one little side note. He had a condition called heaves, which is basically the horse version of asthma. This can be regulated. You have to feed them a certain way so that they don't get dust into their lungs when they eat. And there are different medicines that can be used, but obviously this condition didn't hold him back at all. Highlandale lived to 1973 when he died at the age of 29, almost 30, which is a pretty good age for a horse even today. Ponies live a little longer, but yeah, that's a pretty good age for a horse. He had a great life and he had a lot of fans. And next time I'm going to be talking about his other, probably best known movie role, Black Beauty. But yeah, I think that this is definitely one horse actor who deserves a tribute. I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, keep riding.